music is the answer. Sweet music is the way. Gospel, jazz, R&B touches you every day. Talk about how it moves you differently day to day. It's the R&B Bistro. Let the music have its way.
Hello and welcome to the R&B Bistro Up Close and Personal. I'm your host, Venus, here to take you through this musical dance we call life. And to do that, you know I bring on talented, knowledgeable people to give us tips to help us make it through. Today, I'm so excited because for one, we're celebrating our 5th year anniversary of the R&B Bistro. And I have someone wonderful sitting on the couch again for the second time. He is the CEO of the Knox Group Wealth Management. He is just a wonderful person. He's awesome, well-dressed, handsome, and all that stuff. But he's going to give us knowledge to tell us what we should be doing, walking out of 2021 into a good financial 22. I'm so excited to welcome my friend, Sylvester Knox, to the show.
It's good to be here, and thank you for inviting me. It's wonderful.
Oh my God. You know I like seeing you. You're always well dressed.
I appreciate it.
And you come with money ideas, and you know we all need those money ideas.
Yes, we do. Yes,
so can we get up and closer with our financial business?
Yes, we can.
All right, let's go. Let's get to it. So you talked about starting out with a poor understanding. So you said, understand the source of advice between insurance agents and versus registered reps and investment advisors with fiduciary responsibility. Clear that up for me. What does that mean?
Okay, so there are multiple avenues an individual can align themselves with or hire, so to speak. So you have your insurance agent that specializes in specifically life insurance.
Okay.
And you have your financial advisor who does a little bit more in the sense of doing a portfolio analysis and investing. And then you have the top of the cream, which is the fiduciary financial advisor. They have a holistic perspective on your financial goals. And their main focus is specifically fiduciary, where they are responsible for making recommendations that only impact you and or for your benefit.
So make sure you pick one of them.
That's correct.
I like that. I got it. Okay, so what are a few of the common year-end income planning mistakes that us little people like me do?
Well, we like to say, we don't like to call them mistakes, we're just missed opportunities.
Okay.
And so one of the things that we try to get people to understand is that inflation is continuously going up. It's running at about 2.1%. So we know that the income that you started with maybe 2 or 3 years ago is not enough to meet the long-term life span that you expected to have.
Right.
So we need to make sure we have some flexibility in your income planning to give you that increase to meet life expectancies and certainly to enjoy your life.
Okay, that's cool. So you also talk about planning for this inflation. So, and you said there should be a written income plan. So what should the written income plan be? About 1 or 2 or 3 facts? Okay,
the written income plan should comprise of what you bring home weekly, if there's Social Security benefits involved, if there are IRA funds that are being distributed, all of this makes up your income for the month.
Okay.
So primarily you want to focus that you're getting all these different buckets aligned to achieve the goal of providing enough income so you can support yourself throughout your life. And so one of the things we try to do is make sure that the system is working, that money will last the longevity of your life.
Okay.
You must remember, people are living into their 90s and hundreds. And so we have to project that income out far longer than we used to. So one of the things we will do is do an analysis of your income and to see where we can match or where we can, you know what, maybe you're taking too much income. Maybe we reduce it a little bit so it can last longer. Or maybe, you know what, you're okay, we can increase it so that you can enjoy more. So those are a lot of different options that we have, but as far as your income plan itself, it allows you to live the life that you want to.
Okay. All right. Now, let's talk about IRAs.
Okay.
Oh boy, some of us have them, some of us don't.
Okay.
All right. So should everyone have an IRA?
Yes, absolutely.
And what type? And what's the minimum amount that you can start one up with?
It depends. Okay, what type? So we have the traditional IRA, we have a Roth IRA, we have what we consider the corporate IRA, which is a 401k. We have all types. We have HSAs, which are tied to health insurance, and we have multiple types of retirement accounts.
There's a health insurance IRA?
Health savings account, which allows you through your company to set deferred compensation for health benefits specifically.
Right.
Now, we also have a 529 plan in the same
for college.
In the same couching in the same way that it really is for education.
Yes.
But it allows you to save tax deferred for education.
Okay, do you have one to pay old school loans? Just don't pay me any mind. Anyway, all right, so let's go back to the Roth and the regular IRA. What's the difference between Roth and regular IRA?
Roth is an avenue where you can contribute to your retirement and the money comes out tax-free.
Okay.
Now, the caveat here is you don't get a tax deduction on the Roth.
Okay.
Whereas a traditional IRA, you make a contribution, you get a tax deduction based on your income.
Okay, so hold on. Two situations. A person with a little bit of money,
yes,
and a person with a lot of money.
Okay.
Which IRA should they get?
I would say the person with a little bit of money should primarily focus on getting the traditional. The reason I say that is because it's not only going to help you from a savings standpoint, and it is tax deferred, it also will help you from a tax advantage standpoint, whether it be a deduction off your income, which will lower your tax bracket.
Lower your tax bracket means you get more money back.
Keep more money back.
Yes,
Absolutely.
see, I know a little something.
Yes, you do. Yes,
maybe a little. What was that class we had to take that I didn't do so well? That's the one. Maybe a little bit. Anyway, I digress. Explain a partial Roth conversion. What does that mean?
Partial Roth conversion is a simple avenue where you're saying, I have this Roth account. I want to take some money out of it. To do so, you're responsible for the taxes on the money you take out. So that's called the conversion. So you're taking it out of the retirement plan and moving it into the
usable money now.
And so that usable money you have to pay taxes on. So one of the things that we look at in the conversion process is what is the tax amount that we do on that usable money you just took out.
Okay.
Okay, now that tax money could be spread out over years, but primarily what happens is people must understand that when you do that, you could possibly be raising your tax bracket because it will be treated as income and raise the amount of income you receive.
Wow, my goodness. All right, so what type of withdrawals increase taxation if you're on Social Security income, which is what I'm now on?
Okay, well, Social Security is wonderful, whereas if you take Social Security is interesting because if you take it at 62 and a half, then you're going to be limited on how much.
A half?
Well,
you mean I could have waited? Oh, I just told y'all my age. Forget I said that. Go ahead.
62 actually. But what you could do is what happens when you take that, you have to basically, you're limited on how much income you can receive outside of the Social Security.
Yeah.
And so once you hit that target of taking out a certain amount of income over this threshold, which Social Security sets, you're going to be subject to pay taxes of ordinary income, or actually taxes on your Social Security benefit.
So can you set it up so that they don't take any taxes out of it while you're getting it and pay at the end of the year?
Yes, you can have it where you pay a lump sum, but generally what Social Security will do is when you file your taxes at the end of the year, they will calculate how much Social Security benefit you've received, how much outside income you received, and then they will give you a calculation on what it will be taxable.
Let's stop at Social Security income for a minute. So it increases with inflation?
Yes.
And cost of living?
Obviously, we just got an increase
on COLA. I didn't know
just this past year.
So they do that every year?
So come January, you're going to see an increase.
Well, praise the Lord. All right. So I asked you what increase is it, right? Did I?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now tax time is coming. Oh, Lord. What are some quick ways that we can tax diversify? How do we tax diversify, and what does that mean?
Tax diversification, like any diversification, is having things in different buckets. So in this case, from tax standpoint, you can also diversify among products. The Roth grows tax-free, the traditional IRA grows tax-deferred, and then we have a bunch of other products that grow tax-deferred as well, annuities. And so all of these different products help us segue into different types of monies and how it will be treated as far as taxes go. And of course, you want to have your standalone account where you just have cash in it. So it's
savings account.
Savings account, right. And then obviously we know interest rates are very low and no one's earning any money on savings accounts. But at the same time, you want to diversify your holdings. And so that's primarily the focus around diversifying your asset play, so to speak, as opposed to where we buy stocks, bonds, and different types of investments that will diversify your portfolio, but at the same time, you want to diversify how that money comes out.
So you mentioned the savings. Let's stop there for a minute. Is it better to put your savings in a regular bank that you can walk down the street and go to, or these online things that they have that are savings?
Well, the technology has advanced banking, right? So now banking can be in your home. So we do ask that you get engaged in your community and go to a savings bank in your community, because that is powerful.
Helps the community.
And it helps the community.
Right.
And at the same time, yes, the interest rate isn't what we would like it to be, but you are starting it. We do recommend that you have about 10% of your wealth in savings so that you can handle any emergencies that arise.
Okay. All right. So if you have a limited income, I always have to talk about us folks. If you have a limited income, should you try to find some things to invest in?
Absolutely.
Or some funds that you can use to invest in?
We have hundreds of people who've graduated college that want to start a simple investment plan of doing $200 a month into a mutual fund that will reinvest every month and build up their wealth. And you will be surprised over years how that money has grown. Remember, you're putting away $2,400 a year, and over years it multiplies, and you get the compounding interest, and you get capital gains, and you get dividends, and all those things that are going to help grow that wealth.
But this $200 you probably really shouldn't have to touch.
That is correct.
And it comes out automatically.
Automatically. You have it set up with your bank account, direct deposit into your brokerage account, and there we go.
Now, I think I came to you some time ago, so I'm going to put my business out here because that's what we do on TV. You know, I'm put out there a little bit. I ain't telling you everything. But anyway, so I asked you, if I have $600, if I have $1,000, if I have $2,000, what should I do with that?
Right now, you should look to build a diversified investment plan, primarily focused on equities, which are stocks that grow and build capital gains and so on. And so you want to grow with this great economy we have. You have to remember, corporations are making billions of dollars, even in COVID. So we want to make certain that we take advantage of that opportunity to grow with them. So we will buy their stocks and their investments that allow us to grow and build wealth.
So I don't want you to tell anybody business, because of course you won't, but did any of your clients take a hit with all of this COVID stuff and their investment?
Not one. No one. Not one.
That's good to know. See, nobody, when you use his wealth management company. I thought we had a slide that showed the different services that your company has, so I hope we can get that up here and see what those services are. So, you know, you talk about focusing on you, the full analysis, accountability and all that.
That's
you do all of that at your firm.
We do all that at our firm, and we make sure that we walk you through the whole process. And remember one thing, this is all about your goal. It's never a focus on what we do, it's about what we can do for you.
So if you have a house, you definitely should have insurance on you.
That's correct.
Insurance on the house.
That's correct.
And should there be another insurance?
Well, first of all, you can't, you know, most banks, if you have a mortgage, are not going to let you have that mortgage without having homeowners insurance on the house. So that's a must. And so for yourself, you got to say, well, I have this outstanding debt, and if I have children, I don't want them left with that debt, so I'm going to make sure I have life insurance on my life. So I'm going to have either what I do term, whole life, or universal life.
Stop right there. Because for some reason, I keep getting those confused. The difference between term and whole life, tell me.
Okay, term is temporary insurance. You pay every year as you go. Now, you can do 20-year term, you can do 10-year term, or 5-year term. But it does end at some point.
Okay.
Whole life.
Meaning you stop paying for it?
No, end means that the insurance goes away.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, if you do a 20-year term, unless you renew that term, it ends.
I need to check that out. Go ahead.
So, and it's far less expensive.
Okay.
Where whole life, you can have whole life for the rest of your life, but you're going to pay a much higher premium.
Okay.
Okay.
Which is the one you can take money out of?
Whole life.
Whole life.
Whole life will allow you to withdraw dividends and interest from the plan itself. Now, a lot of times what some insurance agents will do is they will take the premium that you paid and the interest that you're making and pay your premium with it. So this way it sustains that life insurance policy for the rest of your life without you actually putting money out of your pocket.
That's nice.
But that's over a 10-year period.
So people actually who have term life, they really need to pay attention that the term hasn't ended, because they may think they have insurance And then they don't have insurance.
That is correct. And that's why we monitor our clients very closely to see what's changing in their lives, because these things are very critical. You don't want to lose your insurance at the point when you actually need it.
Yeah.
And it is kind of disheartening to pay for something for 20 years and don't have it anymore.
Right. And it's so important for people to have insurance.
Absolutely.
People are dying without insurance.
That's
and then their family has to go get that money together for them.
We have seen a big uptick in people's interest in life insurance, whole life, term, universal life. And so what we've been doing is making sure we get the word out that there are reasonable ways to get this without you spending a fortune.
Yeah. I remember my father, he was sick. I said, Daddy, I need to get some insurance so I'm not a bad person. And he says, yes, you should. And I didn't. And he passed shortly after that. He had insurance, but my name wasn't on it.
Okay.
But anyway, I was like, wow. But the thing is, you should have insurance to cover those expenses.
Those expenses,
and absolutely. And so I run into a lot of people who say, they don't have insurance, I'm not paying for insurance, I don't care what happens when I die. That's really selfish.
That's short-sightedness.
You know?
Because you got to understand, especially if you have children involved.
Yeah.
They have to go. You want them to go to college. You want them to pay for expenses.
Yeah.
How are they going to live?
Yeah.
Because they're counting on your income to support them.
Right.
So by having the life insurance, you have a secondary plan that, God forbid, if God should take me today, my family will still exist and still be able to provide.
And so, do they take the money from your insurance to cover that person who's deceased bills and all that stuff? Do they do that?
Yes, they can do that as well.
Do?
Yes, they do. Yes, they will cover all the expenses, whatever's due. The beneficiary receives.
No, I'm saying do whoever, let's say the IRS or somebody, come after you for the leftover, let's say, bills that the deceased person didn't pay.
Well,
can they do that?
Yes, there's still a responsibility of those bills that are outstanding. So they don't just go away because you died.
Wow.
Okay, they are still there.
I need you to tell them that.
They do not go away because you die. They are still there, and you have to deal with them as far as making whatever payment arrangements, or certainly using the life insurance to negate that debt so that you can move on with your life.
Wow. A lot of information. I got a few more and then we got to run. This is so wonderful. You are so knowledgeable, and I know why you have such a high respect in the industry, because just awesome.
Well,
all right.
you.
So what makes you so passionate about this financial planning and investment stuff?
Well, it's my way of giving back. You know, I feel every client that we take on, I'm helping them to achieve a goal. And helping them achieve a goal is helping them save their families.
Right.
Helping them get their kids to college. I can tell you, being 30 years in this business, I've put more kids through college than
of your clients, you mean?
my clients,
yes,
than I've ever imagined I could. I mean, almost all of them went to college because we planned for it. We did what we have to do to make the funds available.
That's awesome.
And we use the tax codes that benefit each family.
And they're paying out of cash, not getting loans.
That's right. There are no student loans, no debt. And one of the biggest challenges in this country is that our children are being bogged down by this debt and don't get the real full start in life and growing and doing the things we want them to do.
This generation, they're not even going to college. They're starting becoming entrepreneurs and making millions of dollars.
That's wonderful, too.
They're just dancing on TikTok and making millions and millions of dollars. Let's go to our Bistro Rapid Mix for a minute. And this is nothing to do with finances. I just want to get in your head. All right, so what is your favorite thing to do to relax and unwind?
Believe it or not, I love to listen to music.
You do?
I love to listen to music.
I'm so glad you said that. This started as a music show.
And just enjoy a good song and really engage in that. And I also love working out. I love going to the gym, getting my sweat. Gym is relaxing? It's relaxing to me. It's getting my sweat on, I'm working out, I'm burning calories. I love it. It just gives me such a good feeling.
Okay, all right. So since we talked about music, what music puts you in the mood?
Oh, I love it all. I love jazz. I love R&B.
The heavy jazz or the cool jazz?
Cool jazz.
Okay.
Cool jazz.
Okay.
I love the heavy jazz too. You know, in my family, I grew up with a bunch of folks playing guitars and so forth. So we were always into jazz. And so I've loved R&B, which is one of my favorites. And I've loved some rap out there too. You know, it's just, I like a broad mix of music.
Okay, good.
You know, I even listen to opera. I love listening to Broadway theaters, music. So it's just, you know, it's about what the day is going.
Well, it's like the bistro. It's a mix of wonderful things. We could talk about all kinds of things because we're the bistro. And you know, it doesn't really just mean R&B, rhythm and blues. It's real business. That's why we're talking about this financial stuff.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So I want to backtrack and go back to give me those 5 important things we need to do to end this year out.
Okay, so this year has been obviously a very difficult year with the whole thing with the coronavirus epidemic and things of that nature. So one of the things I want to focus on is when you're doing financial planning, this is the time that you want to look at what hasn't worked out and what has worked out.
How good is that? Yes.
So the things that did not work out, you want to sell those because you get a tax deduction against your capital gains.
Okay.
So you want to take those losses and there'll be a direct offset of any gains you have. So there's a great opportunity here to lessen your tax burden.
Okay.
And so that's number 1. Number 2, you want to start out with a strong financial plan going into next year. You want to know exactly, okay, all my ducks align. I want to do a spreadsheet where I show what are my investments, where's my life insurance, where's my health insurance, and where are my expenses. So this way we have an accounting of everything. And then we can start to navigate what's best for you in year 2022. Okay? And so the third thing you want to look at also is flexibility. Okay? You know, what's new out on the horizon? Is Bitcoin something I should be involved in?
Yes, I was going to ask about that. Is it something we should be involved in?
Well, it's still to be determined.
That's what I thought.
Because it's very volatile right now. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for the everyday client.
Right.
Because it's a little more sophisticated than just buying something and having a record of it. This stuff, you can buy and have a record of it, but you don't know, something goes wrong, we don't know where to go to get help. So we want to just monitor this closely, but this could be our future. So we want to make sure we are ready to move when we need to take advantage of that opportunity.
And so your firm manages that too?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
My goodness. There's something else, I'm not sure. That's like Bitcoin. That's coming.
There's all kinds of
different. Is it different types of Bitcoin?
Yes, different types of Bitcoins. Yes.
Wow.
There's a multitude of different types of coins. There's a multitude of different type of ingenuity that they're coming up around Bitcoin. There's all types of things so that's why we want to flush that through to see what's real and what's not.
Yeah, and you really need to be careful because there's scammers out there.
Oh, absolutely.
And they'll say, oh, you can get this from me, just send me some Bitcoin.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the main thing that we're trying to get people to understand is that inflation is real. So if you go to the store and you're spending money and you're realizing it costs more to buy meat, bread, and so on.
I saw a carton of eggs for $5.
So you have to understand that your money needs to be growing just as well to offset that expense. And that's one of the things we try to focus on and make sure our clients are well aware of how do we move forward in keeping up with inflation.
Okay, I'm Sally, who has small income, and I'm coming to you and I only have that I can spare that $1,000. Tell me the first 2 moves I need to do.
That $1,000, I'm going to diversify that $1,000 into 3 areas.
Okay.
Technology.
Yes.
Healthcare.
Yes.
And consumer goods.
I knew everything but consumer goods. Go ahead.
Okay, consumer goods, well, remember, the economy is made up of 70% of consumers. Because if we're spending, the economy is growing. So we want to capitalize on that growth. And that's why we want to own the McDonald's, the CVS's, or
Chick-fil-A's that are popping up everywhere.
That's right, because they're making money and the opportunities there.
Wow, wow, wow. All right. Out of all of this information you gave me, if we don't take away anything else, the one thing that we should take away
is take advantage of getting a financial professional. It helps. Doesn't mean you have to pay somebody to do anything, but the advice and the guidance is critical to the success that you may have.
That's good. That's good. I'm so thankful that you were here today.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
And I'm hoping you're going to come back because, you know, I want him to be our financial guru of the R&B Bistro. So we need that to happen. So we want you to come back.
Yes.
Anywhere you want to come back, you tell us. Financial Minute, you know, whatever you want to do, you come back. Tell our viewers where they can find you.
You can reach me at sylvesterknox.com. That's SYLBESTER, Knox, KNOX.com. Or the Knox Group Global Wealth Management. We're on that. You can find me anywhere. And certainly you can even call the host here.
Call me.
And
I'll tell you where to find
tell me to find you.
I have the pulse. I got the number.
Our office number is 973-218-2496.
There you go. It's been wonderful. This is Venus. You can find me on all social media. I want to make sure that you have a wonderful Christmas. Thank you so much for supporting us for the 5 years. We look to see you for 5 more years and more beyond. Never forget, it's never too late to live your dreams. And when you do, I'll be there encouraging you. Thank you. Tell somebody to tell somebody about the Bistro. Come on back to hear who we talk to next. Bye now.
Music is the answer. Sweet music is the way. Gospel, jazz, R&B touches you every day. Talk about how it moves you differently day to day. It's the R&B Bistro. With